Hello and welcome to week 2 of the British and Irish Pro League. I am MattT. I am joined by absolutely no one because we had a last second switch of castle lineup after one of the castle mainstream couldn't make it. So I am joined by no one else. No, wrong side. There we go. Ta-da. This first game is going to be Hendo, n0body, MattT and Babz, which we can hop into pretty much right away. As the players are warming up, so we will be live after warm up here, and yeah, I think it's an interesting match. I think Hendo looks very strong coming into it. n0body had a pretty good week last week as well, so he could be a threat potentially. MattT versus Babz as well is worth watching, so yeah, I'll be intrigued to see how this one goes. And we get underway with round 1 here. We'll right on board with Hendo to start. I have got some plugins open, but I shouldn't have. I don't think I'll ever successfully start stream without him. Anyway, Hendo takes an early lead here on Drowsy, first map here. Babz is in third, fourth even. MattT ahead, n0body in second. And n0body, MattT makes first mistake of the game there, going in to that pillar on the exit of plastic section. That one is very, very punishing, but it's now a case of can n0body chase down Hendo? I think 210 scab might be a little much to make up here. Hendo going for that inside line there. Does he make it work? I'm not really sure. Looks to have lost a fair bit of time to n0body there, but he will hold on to take first place in this round. If he doesn't miss finish, n0body going very high there, almost getting stuck by Babz, but Babz picks up a very comfortable third ahead of MattT, whose early mistake cost him quite heavily there in the first round. Oh, and Hendo! What was that? And MattT crashed as well, and this is a bit of a fiesta already. We have n0body versus Babz at the front here, with Hendo crashing almost immediately. Very uncharacteristic error from him. We know what a good player he is. I would have been heavy favourite coming into this match. And yeah, almost silly mistake there. Babz really trying to capitalise on this opportunity, but he is going to have to chase n0body here. This is very tight, gets better exit speed than n0body on this section. You carry that speed around for quite a while, so n0body is just going to be dropping time probably until about grass and legalised, at least 2 attempts down. Neither player opting for the inside line there. Third back, Hendo's made an even bigger mistake, who has now dropped in behind MattT as well, so that's going to be a -10 heading way of Hendo, as Babz will pick up the second round. Not going to take the fastest lap away from Hendo's first run, but that is a respectable turnaround for Babz there, someone who had a pretty tricky week last time out, I think it's safe to say. So, hopefully, it can go better this time.
Sorry, I just realised I think my audio was on the wrong setting. Does my audio sound better or worse now? These times can chat. Anyway, audio issues aside, which are a classic for anything I produce, unfortunately. MattT, once again at the back, but we have a far closer fight here. No one's really fallen that far behind. Babz with not an ideal line there. Hendo takes the lead. Oh my god, I was on the wrong setting for the whole cast from last week and no one told me. I'm really mad. Apologies for that. Hendo goes for the inside line again. Is it going to work against n0body? No. No, it isn't. And Hendo, in fact, crashes there, and this is not the start MattT would have wanted. Yeah, drops another -7 there, and now nobody leads. Babz leads Hendo. This is not the start I expect at all. MattT, after a strong performance in seeding, struggling now, it seems. Babz, not with a good line at the start at all. That is going to drop him back and turn this into a three-way fight for the lead. MattT even. So confusing. There's too many Matts. MattT with an early lead here. He will be hoping to hold on. He's had a pretty rough start to this match, dropping 27 points in 3 rounds. He really could use a first or a second here, but Hendo is going to extend the lead over him a little bit. Goes very low on the transition there. MattT really perhaps risking this a bit. But Hendo still with the pace, carries more speed out of that drift. Going to help him through this next section. Meanwhile, up back, n0body and Babz are scrapping. We see Hendo trying this inside line again. MattT goes into the wall, but looks like, will he get away with it? No, n0body is going to overtake him. I don't think Hendo's had a great end, but it's not really going to matter at all there. As with MattT going into the wall, he throws away what was a fairly comfortable second place, or possibly even a first. Why is he losing? He crashed. And that will wrap up map 1. I believe the fastest lap point there did go to Hendo. We've ended up on the wrong map. This is... Of course, the second map should be Creel. I think we might have gone on to Gone by accident. That's a confusing sentence to say fast. Well, we'll see how everyone looks on warm-up here. Creel, the only map that will be featuring in all weeks of the competition. Very challenging map by Kerberos. This particularly challenging reactor penalty section, which we see n0body going to practice twice there. Hendo crashes in warm-up. That's not always great for mental. For some players it doesn't matter, but yeah, he DNF'd straight after that. No point. Babz practicing that drift. There's MattT. The only player to actually drive a clean warm-up run, I guess. And we will be underway with the match shortly. Still very much anyone's game. I think n0body's had a very good start. Hendo had one awful round that has dropped him further back than he would have liked. Babz keeping thereabouts, and MattT hanging slightly out dry at the back. First mistake here seems to come from Babz, as he loses a bunch of time there. I think he might have had a small clip, but we are down to 3 now. Hendo, n0body, and MattT at the front. Didn't look like an optimal dirt line from MattT, so it is going to be n0body versus Hendo. n0body a player with a hell of a lot of pace on a good day. But Hendo, also an incredibly talented player, finishing 4th in the last season of BIPL. He'll be hoping to match or better at this time, especially with Epos not taking part. And he will start off Creel with a first place, and a very comfortable one at that. Half a second lead. MattT just beats Babz out after Babs' early mistakes. So I can feel this match is going to turn into a match of 2 halves, I think. We will have Hendo versus n0body, and then we will have Babz versus MattT, with the way things are currently going. And then Babz at the front here. Everyone surviving the downhill dirt so far. MattT at the back, but only by about a couple of attempts. Not a huge amount of time at all. Seems to get this react penalty section well. Babz goes into the wall. That'll be dropping him down to last place. Yes, MattT now chasing down Hendo. Sending it as much as he can. Seeing if he can get the first place here. If he can get first, it'll tie him up in the battle with Babz, given how poor Babz's round has been. MattT opts for this outside dirt line. The issue is he can't really carry that speed all the way through. Hendo drives another 56 high, with the rest of the players in the 57s. And Hendo looking to be under very little threat on this map, looking far more composed on Creel than he did on Drowsy at the start of the game. Penultimate round here on Creel. Babz has struggled so far, so we'll see whether or not he can keep it a little consistent. MattT not keeping the gear there, and that's going to drop him notably far behind. n0body versus Babz in a battle for second here, as Hendo already has a 2/10 lead. Hendo seems incredibly strong at the very start of this map, and he can stretch a 2/10 advantage over pretty much any of the other players here. Although, an odd drift line there diminishes that advantage to less than half a tenth, and now n0body is breathing right down his neck. It's going to come down to this final series of drifts between n0body and Hendo. n0body opts for the wide line. Hendo keeping the inside here. Is n0body going to have more speed though? It doesn't look like it. Yeah, players are opting for this high line, and it doesn't really seem to be working out for them. Hendo continues his undefeated streak here on Creel. Babz beats out MattT in the battle for third. We now move on to the final round. The last chance for people to take the fastest lap point away from Hendo. But if Hendo just keeps his cool and picks up the round win, I think it's very unlikely anyone is going to get near to him. No one else has really been driving in the 56s other than Hendo. So this is very much his to lose here. n0body does not get a good line through that reset block. It's going to move Babz up into third and MattT up in second, who's challenging Hendo. Having a good round here, MattT. He has looked better on Creel than he did on Drowsy as well, I'd say. He goes for this outside line. Does it work? Not really. He seemed to get all this extra exit speed and he just goes away instantly. Hendo will complete the clean sweep here on Creel. Picking up the fastest lap point as well there. n0body dropping a lot of points on that map, going from 88 down to 63, mainly punished by the final 4th place. I think there's an interesting match developing here. I think Hendo took a little bit of time to get into it, and has now started to show his dominance. I think n0body is looking pretty solid for second place. Seems to be able to challenge Hendo occasionally. Babz versus MattT, on the other hand, is looking incredibly close. MattT seems to have warmed up a little bit. He had a really rough first few rounds on Drowsy, but seemed to have done slightly better on Creel. Of course, we now have the new map. This map only released last week. This is Gone by Spec. Babz clipping the wall there. That is not perfect for warm-up. It's a very interesting map. There's two very important drifts in it. which may feel quite unconventional. And I think that is where we'll see a lot of the time being won and lost here in these rounds. Also, the grass gear drop after, quite likely to, you know, be very influential in the round here. Nobody with a good start here, ahead of Hendo to begin with. Seems to do better on that uphill. How does everyone handle the gear drop? Seems quite well, although nobody is looking best. Very strange drift here. I'm not sure how players are going to fare. Nobody looking to go for later drift than Hendo did. And nobody with about a 10th lead, although it feels like more when you look at it. Slightly clips the inside dirt, and that will be nobody gone there. Huge error from the Englishman. And this has basically allowed Hendo to run away with it, and he goes into the pole. And all of a sudden, Babz is leading. I don't think he knows that. I don't think he would have expected that. Nobody takes it back after a fairly compromised dirt line. Is nobody going to make the finish? No, he doesn't, and MattT wins! MattT won that! Everyone is confused. I'm confused. I have no idea what I guess. Welcome to the spec map. Welcome to Gone. Seems to have caught a few people off guard there. MattT with fastest lap. I'd rather say that isn't going to last through the rest of the rotation. What an absolutely bizarre round that was. Either way, we get underway here on the second round here on Gone. Nobody dropping a bit back at the start, but seems to have made it back up. Hendo in fourth right now just doesn't seem to have a pace. I had spoken to him before this week's matches, and he said that he wasn't full trained. Nobody makes the exact same mistake again, and we're getting an almost weird replay of the last round. If Hendo drives into this plastic inside pole, I'm going to be a state of shock. He doesn't do it again, though. MattT with the lead, though, ahead of Babz. This is going to be tightening up the field a huge amount. Nobody actually going to get sucked into the battle between Babz and MattT, although Babz clips the finish and it's going to crawl very, very slowly onto it. MattT improves his record, so his fastest lap will stand a little stronger, but I'd still say that is unlikely to last through the rest of the rotation. A 101 free to beat for the players. One of the rounds, yeah, that was truly one of the rounds of all time. The entire map has been just weird so far. But we get underway here with round 4. Nobody making a bit of a slow start, but all players still within a 10th, so hard to decide to discern anything. MattT unlikely to continue a streak of victories after that mistake, but will drop him about 3 attempts back. Nobody with a far better drift than his opponents there will catch right up to the pack and even move into the lead here against Hendo. Hendo goes slightly inside there, but is still going to manage a fairly good outside dirt and move in front of Nobody. Nobody trying to catch up through this heavier section. Be able to do it. Oh, this plastic is just terrifying to watch. Babz has made a mistake somewhere behind, but all eyes are on this battle between Nobody and Hendo. Hendo goes for wider outside dirt, but 101 free does fall as Hendo will take the third fastest lap point here, and only has to hold on to it for one more round. But what a scrap there between Hendo and Nobody. Absolutely great stuff. Final round here. Hendo with a good start. Babz seeming to get no slide there. That was very, very strange. Hendo making a big mistake. He'll have to hope that his previous time of 101.1 will hold on for the fast lap there. It's going to be MattT or I think more likely nobody's opportunity to try and take that away. Other players are quite spread out here, but nobody looks to be on a bit of a belter run here. MattT, if he knows who his real competition is, I mean, I say that, he's only 5 points behind nobody, but I think MattT is a player who's probably relying on consistency over pace. So, if he's seen the positions, he'll know maybe don't focus on hunting down nobody. Just try and bring back the second place, hold it together. Nobody does the final jump. That will not take the fast lap. Hendo will get all 3 fast laps as far as I am aware. Nobody picks up a win. MattT second, and you've got to feel for Babz here. He has had an atrocious set of rounds on gone, unfortunately. I will be dropping him to only 14 points after the first rotation. He did look a little better, or significantly better than MattT on Drowsy, which we will move back onto now, so will be a case of how long can Babz hold on. He'll be looking for those second place to try and just keep himself out of last chance for the duration of this track. But he's got a pretty heavy ask to make. Be warm up for actually the last rounds. I know, of course, there's another match afterwards. I'm still getting used to the condensed format myself, despite being quite involved in running of this event. We've obviously condensed BIPL down into 3 weeks, which means players will have 2 matches a week. It's getting ready to say how this might be the last time the players will see Drowsy, but no, of course they have a match on after this, so not quite. We get underway here then on the second rotation. Hendo with 65, with lead on 65 points. That's going to be a mammoth task for anyone to overhaul. n0body on 39 and MattT on 30. Those players still pretty close at this point, and Babz trailing behind on 14. First mistake is n0body, who will drop behind the pack. We'll see how Babz does here. MattT crashes well, and this is looking like a very important round for Babz. I think he's going to be lacking pace and unable to catch up to Hendo here. But if he can pick up a second place, just try and stem his bleeding of points, that'll be so beneficial for him in his battle against MattT and n0body. Hendo goes for the inside route, seems to get to work this time. He's been obviously practicing that a lot. Not the way the map was intended to be driven, but not quite a cut, so let's still go for it. Babz will pick up a second place there. That could be a very, very important round to him, as the gap goes from 16 points to MattT down to just 10. But 10 points is a scary number to be on, because 10 points mean 1/4 place and you are out. Well, not out, but you're into last chance anyway. You're out of points, I guess. But Babz, with a strong start here, sticking with the pack with n0body and Hendo, lagging a bit for Irish, French, or Welsh internet. He's from a lot of places, it's confusing. Not looking the best there. Doesn't seem to get an ideal line through this section, and now he does have MattT on his tail, only about a 10th behind, as n0body and Hendo are right next to each other. I think it is worth following this fight for now, as n0body seems to have the advantage on Hendo. Hendo is going to go for the inside line and messes it up. That's going to be a big point loss for him, but it could have bigger far bigger effect on the rest of the field, as nobody... It's going to be hunting down Babz, and Babz makes a massive error. He had the chance to win the round. And he goes into the wall, and that will be Babz on to last chance. That is... Oh, a massive mistake for the Irish player. He could have reeled in MattT by a few more points there. But instead, it is Babz who finds himself on last chance. He has looked better on this map other than that mistake, and his first sign of life will come from n0body, who immediately finds himself about half a second, maybe closer to a second or a second and a half behind. Close to a second. As that does leave us with 3 up front, but most importantly for Babz, he is not in last, and he has a bit of a margin. Hendo also touches the wall there on the outside there. That is 2 arrows into Babz's pill in his chance of survival there. But his direct opponent, the player he kind of wants to knock out first, MattT, is the one player ahead of him. And he'll be hoping that he can get MattT to drop some points. Of course, his own survival is most important, but if he can get MattT to drop some points, that is ideal. He clips the grass, and suddenly he is in trouble. Oh, Babz. Oh, that is unfortunate. The Irish player is eliminated in 4th place. And I think he'll be a bit disappointed with that performance, to be honest. I think he'll have been hoping he could take MattT. But MattT has driven a couple of impressive rounds on this map. As we finish the last round of this rotation on Drowsy. Hendo leaves n0body. MattT slightly further behind, but with Hendo making a mistake there. Hendo loses some speed, having touched the outside dirt, doesn't know what to do with it, and messes up the transition onto the plastic there. It's going to drop him about a second behind. Which I think this plays best into the hands of n0body. He will only lose 2 points here, whereas Hendo will lose 9, and MattT will still lose a fairly considerable amount with 6. Will there be any mistakes at the end here? We've seen this catch out a few players, most notably Babz in the last couple of rounds. n0body goes very high there, but doesn't quite miss. We'll pick it up, and Hendo will drop below 50 points. It's probably a rare position for him to be in, honestly. Hendo has taken to complaining at the mapper for his own mistake. I think we have an interesting bit of map left. Obviously, Babz eliminated does remove a feature of it. But MattT isn't miles away from n0body. At 13 points, it's a bit of a margin, but it's not impossible. 22 points between n0body and Hendo is far large to make up, and I would say that is incredibly unlikely unless Hendo, starts making a series of massive errors. Well, there are still 3 players in the match. If he does bad in rounds, I think that'll cost him a bit, but we did see Hendo looking incredibly good on Creel. He won all 4 rounds on the bounce last time, obviously taking fastest lap doing so. Driving consistent 56s while other players were in 57s. Outside is Gubama. Well said, Epos, well said. We get underway on Creel here. Hendo, not with the insane start we've seen previously. Or perhaps nobody's doing... I take it back. Hendo does have his usual 2/10 lead, but this is perhaps more to do with the actions of a certain nobody rather than his own driving, but he does clip there coming off a reset block, which is going to put him in a dodgy position. He might be able to catch up nobody here. We're going to see an interesting comparison between the two different ending lines here, though. Nobody and MattT opt for this incredibly outside line, whereas Hendo goes more inside. And it is not going to pay off for Hendo at all that time, as MattT will leave a round. And the players are going to finish in the complete opposite order to their leaderboard position to help tighten this match up a little bit. I think an unlikely second place might not be completely out of realms of possibility for MattT here. But he needed to not do that, and that is a massive mistake for MattT. He is on 8 points. Last place will get -9 points. And he's almost certainly going to be on last chance now, unless Hendo or nobody make an absolutely massive mistake here. They are pushing each other. They are neck and neck through this reactive dirt section. An absolute classic of Kerberos mapping. Still neck and neck. Hendo getting a far better line there. Gaps nobody by a couple attempts. This round is looking fairly secure now for all the players. Due to MattT's early mistake, I don't think nobody is going to get punished for a slightly slower end than he perhaps would have wanted. He catches up a bit, but not enough to really be a factor. MattT will be slipping onto last chance now. He'll have to make it at least 2 rounds until nobody also joins him on last chance here. Both of those rounds will be here on Creel, where nobody has shown some great pace, and Hendo has won almost every round. But it's not out of realms of possibility, but I get the feeling from Matt he's going to be counting on other players' mistakes more than his own pace. He clips the outside dirt there, and it will definitely be onto other players' mistakes now. Gets a no slide, and I think we might be saying goodbye to MattT now. I think he can be very happy with showing this match to take nobody as far as he did, but did I speak too soon? I think I might have, because him and nobody are suddenly next to each other on track, and he hits the wall! Oh, MattT. I don't know if he plays UI on, but if he does, well, if he doesn't, and he ends up watching this back, he will be slightly gutted by that mistake there. Knowing that he had a chance to try and keep the match against nobody going, to try and see if he could take that second place. But I think he could still be happy with third place. This was a difficult match coming into it. His main battle is going to be against getting relegated, and if he can pick up third place in consistent matches, he should manage that. We're now into the 1v1 stage. Hendo has 32 points, nobody has 5. That's going to require 4 round losses for Hendo to throw him on the last chance. So this is a massive ask of nobody. I would say we've seen stranger things, but I'm actually not sure we have. But we'll see how long nobody can keep this alive for. With the format changes, match point is decided already. So this is just, for nobody, I think it's just try your best, see if you can put a little miracle here. And he seems to be doing phase 1 of 4 here. Already, it's going to be so close going through the finish line. 600ths between them. But nobody will keep himself out of last chance for one more round. Even though I think with the way the mouse will work out, that's not going to make a huge amount of difference. But he will at least make it on to gone for the second time round. A map which I would have to say, Hendo didn't look great on. I'd say n0body looks like the stronger player on Gone. So if n0body can keep it clean, this is actually not as tidy a situation for Hendo as it might look. If Hendo were to lose this match, it will be on Gone. He'll have 3 round losses and then the last chance round as a final round on here. I think that's the only way the maths can work out. Perhaps they could get to the last round of Drowsy. I'm not quite to the first round of Drowsy. But yeah, this is very much Hendo's to lose here. All he has to do is, after this round's going to be a bit of a dud, the first round after this warm-up, and then after that, it's just beat n0body once. We've beaten him countless times in this game already. How much of a scare can n0body give the Welshman? We will find out. This round means nothing for n0body, because either way he's going to end up on last chance, but it means a lot for Hendo as to whether or not it's going to be 3 or 4 rounds until he's on last chance. And Hendo will probably not be going... Yeah, okay. I thought that round could be quite an interesting one. Not looking at so far, n0body put himself 4 attempts behind with a very early mistake. That is a huge ask to catch up. He has looked better through this drift. I'd put him down to catch up 10th, maybe 2, but no more than that. And another 3 attempts to catch up through the rest of this map is going to be tricky without a mistake from Hendo. And Hendo, player who can usually keep it together under pressure. But as I say about n0body is closing in. It's down to a 10th and a half now. He's looking like the stronger player on Gone outside of that early mistake. But I think Hendo's got it together for this round. And n0body will be entering last chance. That was known anyway, but Hendo will be going on to 20 points. So it'll take the whole of Gone for n0body to knock him on to last chance. As we get underway in the first of n0body's last chance rounds, he does have an early lead. He is going to try and keep himself in this battle for as long as he can, but he does touch the inside wall there. And without a massive mistake from Hendo, you'd have to say this is almost certainly GG. He has looked stronger on pace, but he's not going to be able to undo half a second with that. I think Hendo will finish his match this round. With all 3 fast laps, he will be taking a full 15 points away from this game. So he'll be happy, even if he did end up on less points than he might have hoped. No, but n0body was not able to mount the level of comeback that would have been needed. GG in chat, and Hendo will win the first of the matches here today. I think that was a pretty good game, to be honest. I do feel for Babz. I think he got quite unlucky there. Just seemed to make a couple of really crucial errors towards the end of tracks. Meanwhile, Hendo just seemed to have the consistency, but didn't look as strong as I've seen in past. I think his next game could be more of a challenge, because he will be playing Wizzy. So, I'm not sure how that'll go. I'd still put him down as probably favourite for a win, given how Wizzy's match went last time against Josh, but a lot of this is going to depend on how much how much Wizzy has practiced, to be honest. I've just realised I think I was sending in double audio. I hate dealing with audio. One day it'll work properly. 20 minutes until the next game, then. I will quickly read out any results we have had so far before we go to a break. Nope, I think that was the first of the 6 current games to finish. See if there's anything else in the spreadsheets. Over in match 4, Boz and Jaffa are the only ones left, with Sean being eliminated in 4th and Socks in 3rd. I wouldn't say that is any major shocks, and in the Div 2 matches, only 2 out of the 16 players have been eliminated. I tell a lie, we have a result in from Div 2. It's match 3, and it is Steg, Darklight, Koza, and Palabara finishing in that order. I was speaking to Koza before, and he was talking of his hopes of a win there, so I think he'll be pretty gutted to have been beaten by Darklight, who's new to the BIPL format. I know he's a very respected ice player, but glad to see him performing well, and of course Steg, he'll be aiming for promotion this season, I think. Probably against OC, Killian, and Rebel as the biggest rivals. So that is very, very good for his promotion attempt. With, what is that, 27 points out of 30 from the first matches. Only dropping fast at that point so far. Very good run from Steg. Start Division 2. MattT in chat said I need to see that round on Gone. It was being streamed. I'm not sure anyone caught this clip, but please, someone go and find that, because that was incredible. If only I didn't drop those 20 points on first rotation of Spec. Man, you had the pace for quite a lot of that round, and Hendo wasn't as consistent as usual. I honestly think you could have won that, but yeah, you were dropping points you shouldn't have on Gone quite a bit there, I'd have to say. Right, the next roundabout will be on in this channel. Let me check. Will be a Div 2 game featuring Nearanto, Burnt Bagels, OC and Steg. OC and Steg, 2 people looking good for promotion. So I think that is going to be a very, very important game between those 2. So stay tuned for that, and I will be back in about 20 minutes.